This project as a whole is a modern retelling of the prodigal son parable. So if you didn't know, the story goes, a farmer has two sons. And one of the sons is very dutiful, listens to the father, stays in the farm and works there. But the other son wants to go out to the city and just do his own thing. So he kind of goes, and what happens is a slow progression of him losing his way. He starts, drinking like crazy, gambling, stealing sheep, like whatever he did back in the day. And he eventually hits rock bottom and he goes back home. And his father, instead of being disappointed, is actually pretty joyous. And he has a big feast for that son. And the dutiful son's like, yo, how come I don't get a feast? And the father says, let's just rejoice because this dude was lost, but now he's found. And that's kind of the theme I'm exploring with this album as a whole. I was able to eventually get to a better place by reconnecting with communities, social circles, and living more for others rather than myself. And this album explores the first half, which is the descent of when I hit that rock bottom point. So the first track, Mandate of Heaven, is supposed to capture the optimism and the world is yours for the taking mentality that follows after graduation. And that's the starting point, right? Graduation is a culmination of me having 4 years to discover myself, putting in that work in both my classes and my organization, but also wilding with friends and creating these memories. And to kind of capture that feeling, I asked a bunch of friends to send in voice recordings of them wishing their loved ones well. And I really just like what everyone sent in. There was like a good range of lighthearted messages and heartfelt messages. And I hope these parts of the song evoke fond memories of people believing in you and rooting for you. And if you don't have that, I believe in you and I'm rooting for you. You got this. From hearing shots to naps in the palm trees. So this actually has a double meaning. So for hearing shots, it means both gunshots that out here back in the neighborhood and people yelling shots at parties in college. And it goes from hearing shots to naps in their palm trees. And it was really good to just get away from that and go to a more calmer, quiet setting after graduating. Mrs. told me to switch path and get the LSAT, held back, no way stay laid back. So I was actually in Hawaii during the Hawaiian Missile Crisis. And I was actually, after graduation, really studying hard and working to go to law school. Once I got that notification of incoming ballistic missiles from North Korea is not a drill, and I just kind of thought to myself, damn. I ended up calling my friend Caleb, and we started just reminiscing and talk about life. And I told him, no, I don't really have any real regrets. But if I survive this, I think I'm just gonna go move back to LA and do music for a few years and see where it takes me. And that was a pretty, life-changing, path-altering moment in my life. When it said that I rose from the dead, now I'm walking the water while I'm multiplying bread. So I have this rare medical condition, and when I found out I had it, doctors said I should have been dead. And there are many times where it got really bad, but I'm still here. I'm trying to do the impossible and get some money. And every step that I take is a victory lap, and every breath that I take is a victory, man. Life's a blessing. I went through a lot to get to this point, so I don't take anything for granted. I'm the manifestation of generation, patience, mom, pops, cross seats, see one of us make it. Like my parents, like many other parents, they immigrated from another country to get here, and just thinking about it, that shit's so wild. They moved to another country where they did not know the culture, did not speak the language, kind of just gave up everything that was familiar just for the hope that their kid could have a better life than them. And that's such a wild sacrifice to take a step back and think about. Cause fuck a white collar when you aim for Valhalla. Place is a swan song for the damn gun, love. I'm trying to go off the beaten path. And if you're trying to do that, you gotta do things different. I'm aiming to be one of the greats. I might not get there, but to even have a chance of making it in this field, you kind of have to aim high. My music, I'm trying to make a legacy, you know? When I'm gone, hopefully people could listen to what I've created and get some good vibes out of it. Always had a flair for dramatics. She asked what happened to the magic, so I vanished. This line is just me acknowledging that I'm extra and that I used to have commitment issues. So the person who produced this beat is a really good friend of mine and former college roommate, Emin Kwan. And how I first met was during my freshman year English class. It was called China in the Globalized Society, and it was basically a Chinese history class. You know, I came into the class knowing nothing about China. This fool was just fucking raising his hand for everything, like Mao Zedong, Red Guard, Cultural Revolution, and just fucking dropping knowledge. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy like knows everything about China. And our paths crossed, and once I became friends with him, I felt elevated my Chinese knowledge to that level, you know? Like I was learning so much shit about China that like low key, you know, I might be able to pass for like 10% Chinese or something. Okay, here's a really fucking crazy fun fact he taught me. So, turns out that we actually use Chinese pidgin in our vernacular. So back in the trading port days of Shanghai, they created this English-Chinese hybrid pidgin because traders need to communicate with each other. So some of the stuff that we might not realize we say is chop chop or gung ho, but I think the most famous one is long time no see, which is just a direct translation of a Chinese phrase. And like once I fucking learned about that, I was like, oh shit, that does kind of sound like Chinese, you know? It sounds like something, I don't know, my parents would say even though they're not Chinese, like long time no see, like what the fuck does that mean? Another great story is he is a relentless freestyler. Like once he's spinning hot bars and he knows he's spinning hot bars, he won't stop. One time I picked him up from a frat party, dude was just wasted, you know? So the first thing he tells me is, let's get in and out. I want in and out. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm a DD. You know, we pull up to the In-N-Out drive-thru, get some food, he eats, he's feeling really good about himself. And he goes, we gotta freestyle. We just gotta freestyle. So I'm like, all right, we go to a dorm room, put on a beat, we start freestyling. He starts spinning hella hot bars, and then he just stops, runs to the bathroom, starts puking his guts out, immediately runs back to the fucking room and starts picking off like nothing happened. Then he stops again, fucking runs to the bathroom, pukes, runs back to the bed like nothing happened, starts spinning hot bars. He did this about like 5 times and he just kept going, you know? Sometimes when you're on that roll, like it's like the Michael Jordan flu game, right? You don't wanna sub yourself out for that. And last related story to this, fun fact, the last guy with the inspirational talk, he was actually in a porno with Angela White. Take that as you will. So yeah, that was a breakdown of Man Made of Heaven. Hope y'all enjoy. We're releasing the visualizer soon. Or maybe it's already released if you're watching it kind of fucking late. But thanks for watching. Peace.